Hello, beautiful friends. It's so exciting to be here. It's not a new moon, it's not a full moon, but we're meeting anyway because of the changes that are taking place. And so I just wanted to do at least one call today to be able to share, and then I'll post the recording. And so I hope everyone is enjoying this expansion of consciousness that is happening through us. It's happening through our bodies. It's happening through all the systems. And so I'll do a quick review of Ascension as I've experienced it myself. And, I always think it's important we speak from authentic experience because that has the most power. And it, to me, is a transmission. It's not some kind of knowledge that we read somewhere. And so I'll share what I know. And then, of course, you have all the puzzle pieces, and then everybody else is receiving so many puzzle pieces. But it's nice to hear, so many people right now speaking about the spiral, which is what we spoke about, and about the electromagnetic field of the earth, about the solar energies, about the axis of the world. So, it's out there. And so people see, of course, the same thing. So I'll start, of course, that this lifetime is the most exceptional lifetime that we could possibly be here for and imagine. For me, this lifetime has been from day one all about actually this big change that we are going through here. I was always receiving bits and pieces as a child, and sometimes huge pieces, but I, of course, didn't understand any of it. But, it's in my memory bank. And so I knew that we came here for this world, and that it had to do something with a planet. It had to do something with the rainbow body. It had to do something with the sacred heart. And so those were my puzzle pieces that I knew since my childhood. And so in 2006, I got to see, when I was taken into what we call divine reality, what the ascension would really be about. And so I could see that we are part of a very big world that we don't even know, that we are part of, with many more planets that we can see here, many more suns that we know. And that through this ascension process, there will be a force, and we can call her even the spiral of evolution, the rainbow serpent in cosmos, and that she would spiral up. And that when she spirals up, that she will turn into her next version of her own being. And from a serpent of creation, she will become a dragon of creation. And that this will be the shift of the ages, and that this planet will this time make the shift of the ages going to higher realms. And that she will not be the only one, but many other worlds, all worlds within this world will make a shift. This is also, of course, what Patricia Cota-Robles speaks about. I just don't have the same vocabulary that she does, but it is basically the same thing, that when one planet is left behind, the entire world in a way struggles. I always compare it to our physical body, because everything, is macrocosm in microcosm, and microcosm in macrocosm. And so imagine if your body was perfectly healthy, but for example, your middle finger would be always in pain, then the entire body would also struggle with that little situation, little in comparison to the vastness of all things. But when one part of a system struggles, the entire system cannot fully thrive. When one person is left behind as the troublemaker, the entire system is still in trouble. And so this is, for example, why the great beings like Babaji stayed behind here, and they are still helping. And Yogananda right now is helping this world, and has been helping, of course, for many decades. But Yogananda is very, very, very present right now on this planet. And many more people will feel drawn to Yogananda's teachings, as he really represents the Divine Father in this world. And so these beings have one big purpose. For example, Yogananda said, my favorite way of introducing a sentence is, we cannot really stop the darkness, but he was speaking about, the time when he was embodied here. But what we can do is increase the light. So the thing is that, of course, things have shifted, but that was the mission until recently. We can possibly maybe stop all the darkness in the world, but we can always increase the light. And that's what we have been doing here. And so in 2006, I got to see the entire process of ascension, which really, again, it gives you information that then guides your life. In 2018, in August, around, the very, very powerful date for all of us, which is the Lion's Gate. The Lion's Gate happens around, it's a few days before, during, and after August 8th. So again, I always say it doesn't really have to do with the calendar and the number 88, but these portals are aligned with some of the dates in the calendar. And so this is a cosmic portal, and it's a portal that opens in the energy field of the earth into cosmos, and then new energies are available to us. And it's very powerful. So in 2018, we received, as far as I could tell, the first really download of what we call the I Am presence of our divine self. Now, this started to lead to massive awakening on planet Earth. And it is really not that we are waking up so much as it is that our divine self, our I Am presence, is connecting to us. And so we are becoming more aware of our multidimensional actual reality. And we start to remember, we suddenly expand our consciousness. And I call it the top-down approach, which is the top-down approach of your own divine self now connecting to you. So in 2018, the first big download came during August 8 and around. The second big, really big download came again a year later in August, on August 8 and around. Of course, it's always like, 2 or 3 days before and after. And in 2019, we received really a huge download again of information. Some of us started to remember our multidimensional self. And again, it's not like we make it up, it just is suddenly delivered as a flow of information from the divine self. So when this happened to me, it happened to me in Encinitas. Some of you came to Encinitas last month with us. And again, we're doing this one more time. This is going to be the last time in a few days, going to Encinitas, to Yoganandas, to this big sacred portal, and where the vibration is higher than ever before. So I've been going to Encinitas, and I lived there for many years too. For many years, I've been going, and I lived there for 3 years too. So I spent, as much time as possible in Yogananda's presence. But last month when we went, so it was February, I have to tell you, the vibration of Yogananda's hermitage is unlike any other time before. So the vibration is so intense, you will feel it in your bones. And many different changes have taken place energetically that I was able to see in Encinitas. So in 2019, I wanted to be there for 8/8 in Encinitas. And what happened again, the experience of the download of the divine self allowed me to actually remember something so important. And I have shared this many times before, but this is really why we are here, all of us on this planet. That night, my husband and I, we rented an Airbnb, and it happened to be that the Airbnb had massive amount of crystals, and the crystals were giant. And, of course, that's a lot of energy right there. So I think it was called like Crystal Temple or something like that. And so I don't know what worked that night, but something worked. And suddenly, my divine self came in and gave me complete recollection of the experience of the end of Atlantis, when the earth did not make the shift of the ages. And so I could tell the details of everything from the last few moments of the world before the big flood came. And I was able to remember every single detail, to a point that, like, in the morning I would tell my husband, okay, before we Google anything, I want to describe to you exactly the land of what today we call Ethiopia, because I could tell there was a group of beings that was sent to the earth to make sure that humanity and the earth can make the shift of the ages, mainly the earth, but of course without humanity, we are not really moving the entire world. And so I could tell, where these beings were, what it exactly looked like, which way they would sit down to expect the flood, which came with the tsunami. And so all of it was like detail and 100% provable that that was the land. So it was pretty incredible. And what I learned from the experience, from the recollection of the divine self, was that this group of beings who were sent to the earth to assist with ascension, and there was obviously no success. These beings made a big promise, and I say these beings might be you and me here, and that we made the promise to what we would call our Divine Father, that this would never happen again, and that the earth will never suffer like this again, and that the earth will never miss the opportunity to ascend again. So then in 2020, Yogananda told me that we were going to experience massive amount of purification in 2020. and that all of this purification would be working through the human body, and that certain ancient darkness that was actually hiding in a way in our physical bodies would have to leave this world. And all of that happened in 2020, as you can tell, big change, and that it would be a big transformation of human life in our bodies, and that our bodies would be able to receive more life force, and that our human bodies would have different cells, different nervous system. It would be reconnection of our brain centers. So the physical changes were a huge part and are a huge part of our ascension through the body. We are basically preparing the body for the higher. Sorry. No, no, no. No, no, come here, guys. Sorry about that. So we are basically preparing. We are preparing the earth for higher and higher frequencies of solar light. So the body, since in this world, originally we had a very different functioning of the physical body, it was basically to be a beautiful temple and a vessel that allows us to co-create cosmic creation with our divine mother and with our divine father. And so the body has to be purified so that once again, the body can be completely functioning and able to receive these highest frequencies. I know, I hear my dogs too, so. Come here. You have to go here. So the physical ascension process, you have to think about it. The changes that are taking place are cellular, genetic. We are purifying the human genome. And the nervous system has to be attuned to these higher frequencies of divine electricity. Our digestion system has to be more and more attuned to be much more light than the heavy stuff that we've been eating as humanity. And of course, all of this, for some people can be pretty dramatic, and for some people it's very easy. So it really depends. But we want to go with the flow of that. So in 2020, it was like a huge year where so much was revealed. The earth was telling us, actually, she started to speak to human beings, and a lot of human beings felt the need to be more in nature. A lot of people felt like they need to learn how to garden, how to grow things. And so many people around the world actually noticed nature as a completely important element of our life. So, nature as cosmic mother nature started to speak to humanity. She revealed to us in 2020 that her axis that we would normally say, well, it's normal that we do have a tilt. She said, no, that actually is not the original divine design for planet Earth, but the magnetic axis of the world, which means the magnetic North Pole and magnetic South needed to be aligned. So I didn't know exactly how to do that, of course, because, how do you align the magnetic axis of the world? But, as they say, Lord behold, next thing you know, our team is assisting with the alignment of the planetary axis. So this all leads to the fact that in 2021, something absolutely science fiction happened, and that we had a big intervention from the supernatural beings from higher realms who have been part of actually Earth's evolution. And the Hopi people and the Navajo people and Zuni people, they spoke about them mainly. I don't know who else, but I'm sure that they were seen in many more traditions around the world. But these beings that we call Kachinas today, and they came in 2021. They came to the world on the 5th of May, and they actually moved the entire Earth to a new position. So, again, I say it's science fiction, but actually creation is science fiction. So, the most boring part of creation was the way that, humanity lived their lives until now, because of course it seemed so ordinary and normal. But actually everything is so supernatural about actually the real life. And we are about to discover that as well. And so the earth was moved to a place, we are moving the earth actually into higher and higher realms of what you would call source light. And source light is always emanated the most by central suns. Now, the way this works is that we have our, you could call it the primary source of creation from which spirit emanates. And now to be able to distribute the pure source light, we do have central suns, many central suns. Each sun is pure solar consciousness. It's, of course, amazing consciousness that is able to perfectly receive and transmit these highest frequencies of source light. Divine Mother always described it as knowing that each sun is a replica of source. Each sun represents source. And depending, of course, on the size of the system, we have smaller suns like here in the solar system, and then the bigger suns, and now we speak about the grand sun. So even the grand sun represents the source. And so source energy is then emanated into a system. The suns also, from what I've seen, they step down the energy. So just as it is in the process of initiation, you never take beings that are in kindergarten to, for example, receive the intense information that comes with this light that we would compare to like your PhD. So everything is stepped down appropriately so that it can serve at that level of evolution. And it just makes sense. That's how initiations work as well. We never want to overwhelm the system. It's never useful. We want to appropriately step down all the frequencies so that everybody at that level can benefit and rise. And then again, once the beings rise, we give them more of the solar light, step down from source. And then again, you could call it elementary school. And so again, everything is about matching frequencies and vibrations. It's like our nervous system and electricity. The perfect amount of divine electricity is given to the initiate through the nervous system so that the initiate can rise to the next level. Nothing is abrupt. It always is the next logical step. And so that's what's happening in this world. So that's what happened in 2021. In May, the Earth was lifted into higher realms of solar light. Now, this, of course, continued. In May 2021, there was a big gathering in higher realms that all of you participated in, whether you know it or not. So I was there out of body consciously, so I was able to look around a bit. And it was truly humanity receiving baptism. Now, this is baptism, of course, is a big initiation. And so in 2021, we all received this incredible baptism. All of this prepared us for really 2023. And in 2023, what happened was, of course, absolutely magical. The way that I experienced 2023 was kind of incredible when I would call it the doors to evil were shut and a lot of these very dark energies left the earth. But also on 11/11, when our team sponsored this incredible global activity, which was about aligning the planetary axis, which the way that this came about was miraculous, of course, as it always is. So I knew since 2020 that we do have this global problem here, which is our axis is not aligned. If the axis is not aligned, it's like having a spine that is not aligned. That means, we are lopsided. If we are lopsided, we are not receiving the energies through the North Pole and through the South Pole properly. So in a way, the light body of the Earth could not function properly. And then we have the problem that I call it the catch-22, what comes first? Is it the egg or the chicken? Is it first that we need to fix the axis of every person and then the axis of the world will change? Or is it that we change the axis of the world and then the axis of each person will change? And so when we went to the World Congress on Illumination in 2023, there was a presentation by Dominique, who is a teacher of the same kind of teachings like Patricia, but she teaches in French in France and in the French-speaking parts of Canada. And so she presented about the alignment of the planetary axis. And so I ran to her after and I said, we need to have the script for this because that's what we need to do. And so she was so generous, and she gave it to us. And we created, as you know, the video that then Patricia presented, and we had this amazing alignment of the planetary axis, which took place on 11/11 in 2023. This basically changed everything. When you think about the civilizations that we are familiar with, and all the great teachers and yogis and avatars and gurus who have been coming to the world until 2023, they were really coming for the alignment of the planetary axis. The seven holy Kumara, the seven solar rishis, they've been coming here for maybe billions of years, maybe, in human terms, to actually align this planetary axis. But this was the first time this was possible, and this was the first time it actually succeeded. And so in 2023, the Earth was able to align, and each one of us was able to align. Now, this is really essential to everything that is going to happen next. We now have our solar spine with direct access to something that was almost impossible to achieve in the past. Direct access to the highest aspect of your own being, which is your God self. Now, that means that if we now every day practice alignment through the spine, it is not difficult at all. We are not working no longer against the pull of the world. Now, this is huge because the pull of the world was the misaligned North and South Pole magnetically. That meant we had to work so hard against the pull, but now we are supported by the electromagnetic field of the Earth. We are supported by the alignment of the axis of the world. We are supported in our spiritual awakening. We are waking up from a sleep. This sleep was a sleep of the entire planet, because as you can imagine, the spine in the human body is again microcosm of the macrocosm. And so now we are aligned with the spine, with the axis not only of this planet, but with the solar spines of the suns. This now allows every single one of us to have really incredibly easy access to the highest realms of creation that I have been speaking about, which are the solar worlds, and then even beyond the solar worlds, the absolute. Again, in the past, we're looking at thousands and thousands and thousands of years, right? We had all these traditions, and it was all about trying to achieve that, trying to get into the absolute, trying to get into the solar world, trying to move beyond the astral, trying to move into the causal. It was not easy. But now it's like this, bam, we all can do it with a little bit of knowledge, with a little bit of knowing. So all of this is available to us now. Now, of course, all this has to run through your spine down into the human body. That's why the human body is changing the most. A lot of people are having digestive issues these days. Our digestion has to change. We have depended on a lot of things in this world that we no longer will need to depend on. And again, just listening to your own process will be the most useful. So this pretty much led to, let me just look at the time. Okay, wonderful. So I wanted to do a little bit of recap of Ascension, and then look at, what is next and how do we move forward into this light, really, because that's what it is. So the structure within us that, we see here in this picture pretty much has been reestablished. And so now breathing through the spine, aligning through the spine, opening the heart, and moving up higher and higher, and then bringing down these codes from the solar light here and expressing them will be the most important. On February 2nd, 2024, I shared that I ended up in Sedona, and that I was given information by my Hopi guides that I've had in this lifetime. And they told me that, as we were going with also, Matthias de Stefano was there too. He spoke about it too in his own way. He was at the front door, I was at the back door, and he was with a group of people, I was with a group of people. And so I got visited several, actually, I think it was at least a week or two before, every day, by the Hopi women, mainly women. And they were showing me, what needs to happen in Sedona during this activation on the 2nd of the 2nd. Now, to me, this is so, so, so important for what actually we have been speaking about and maybe experiencing here on this planet for billions of years. So Sedona is a portal to the new Earth, and I don't know how many more portals here on this planet lead directly to the new Earth, but Sedona is one of them. And again, some of you will be there with us. And so this is a drawing I was given by the Hopi women when they came to me. And they said, you know, the second door, the back door needs fixing. And some beings have been working on this forever and could not fix it, but they knew, these women, how to do it. They knew how to realign the energy so that the energy can flow again. We are speaking about massively ancient energies that actually were disabling the earth, and where the earth was experiencing a lot of unconsciousness and so-called evil energies. So I created this so that we can kind of see what it looked like. There was a frozen energy that had to be defrosted through the infinity symbol and through the heat that is at the base of our spine, what Divine Mother calls the volcano. So this was a great success. I took this photo when we were there. It was really cold. It was snowing and raining. But what was so important is, you know, I go into like trance and open my third eye. And so I was just doing what needed to be done. And then what I was shown is this. And this to me is the story of the fall, the story of the origin of what we call evil, the origin of the adversary. And so I saw clearly that once upon a time, all of life was harmonious, and all of life actually contained all frequencies in oneness. That means each frequency individually was perfect, but together they were one. It's pretty amazing. And then I saw how one frequency departed from this oneness, but not completely, just went completely astray, and yet still being at the point of origin one with. That means originally this frequency too was part of the oneness of all life. But as this frequency departed, just like you see it here, this is the best I could do, then it then looked back at the oneness of all things, and it did not identify with the oneness of all things anymore. It felt separate, but forgetting that it too originated in that oneness. And so it became the adversary. So it was looking back and saying, now I need to go and attack. I need to be against. And yet that created life versus life that had profound implications. And this story you will find if you study the Gnostic tradition of the goddess Sophia, if you study the yogic traditions where they have many different names for what happened on this planet, and how then this one frequency, you know, independent in a way, intelligent, started to create havoc in cosmos. So on the 2nd of second, I was clearly shown this was the end of this, and that this dissonance would now be coming into balance. And so instead of disharmony and separation that you can see here, this is how the yogis described it, that from Ishvara, from the oneness of all life, came the Great Mother. And the great Mother Nature separated. And I know for sure that this happened through an accident. And again, in the Gnostic tradition, you will be able to go into the depth of how this happened. Basically the law of physics. And so the laws of physics within creation were pushed. And when they were pushed, just like Sophia pushed herself without being, you know, in alignment with cosmic law, then she accidentally create something that in the Gnostic tradition is called the archons. Here in the yogic tradition, it was called apara prakriti, or we can have many other different names for it. And so this all returned to the oneness of all life. So if I should say it in yogic words, then I would call this apara prakriti, Satan. And so beyond Maya, you know. And so this is now the, in a way, rebalancing of all frequencies within creation so that all frequencies can together uniquely create creation and expand cosmos. So, I mean, this is huge, right? It's 2024. So, when Matthias spoke about it himself, I saw that he spoke about it a few days ago. He said this was the origin of a broken heart. And you know, that's definitely, you can imagine how many broken hearts came out of this. But I was told in Sedona when we were doing the alignment that this was the end of life harming life, and that from now on, meaning a month ago, life could only love life. So that's absolutely huge. And so again, for example, Patricia Cota Robles sent an email. I haven't been able to read all of it just yet, but that this year, the World Congress on Illumination will be the completion after 38 years. And so hopefully we all will be there. I will be presenting as well. And so, the big completion is happening this year, of course. And all of this is due to all these activities that took place. So then we went to Mexico with some of you again. I think we've been having so much fun around the world, but I was told that it's time to start building spirals. So since then, I've been to build many, many spirals out of rocks, and I hope that everybody's joining us. Please join us in building spirals. It doesn't matter how perfect, imperfect they are, how small or big they are. I usually build them out of rocks, but I know that you guys have been really creative. So I just went to Mount Shasta. I built so many spirals everywhere. The earth simply asked for it. The earth speaks to us. And so she said, I need spirals on my surface. I need spirals. In a way, you can think of it like kind of doing acupuncture for the earth or homeopathic medicine for the earth. Even though the spiral might be so little, the spiral is actually energetically assisting the earth to rise even higher, even into higher realms of creation. Now, in Mexico, I was also shown, and I want to say, who cares if it's Mexico or not, because, there is no such thing in reality. There is only one world, one planet. But the beauty of, for example, where we were was the purity of nature. So when you are in a place with very few human beings or surrounded by amazing human beings, then of course, of course, nature can speak to you in more clear ways. And so it was revealed that a new cosmic Christ was born and is being celebrated in higher realms. And so that, of course, will be too affecting how we move forward in this ascension process. Another thing that we were told is that we are here to go home. And so we are bringing the earth back home, which is into the solar worlds where she belongs, into the systems of the solar worlds of Alpha and Omega and beyond. So today I wanted to speak about what is really unfolding here and how do we move forward. To start with, I wanted to actually play the first chapter or first code from the 33 codes. The 33 codes are still working on this planet. It's a book that was really assigned by these guardians of planetary evolution in higher realms, and not just in higher realms, but I mean in cosmos. And they ask that the book exists in this world and that they will be channeling energy. And I don't even want to say channeling because suddenly that means like people channel, but actually they will be using, and they have been using since 2021, this book to bring higher and higher and higher powerful energies from cosmos into the planetary grid. These are, of course, the beings that have been part of this evolution forever, and we could call them also Elohim. And so today I wanted to play actually code 1 and code 33. And so I will start with code 1. And so this is our beautiful sister Lynn who read the code, but go deep within. Everything is coded for a reason, for some reason it needed to be this way, so it's okay. And so go within and deeply listen or just watch what the code 1 is all about.
Code 1. Welcome to the new earth. Look around with the richness of your heart. You are in the land of infinite bounty. Your mother is beneath your feet. Your mother expresses her love through the heartbeat of nature. Listen silently to her rhythm, be held in every particle of life. Your mother is the cosmic goddess of life. She is a passionate creator, eternally pursuing new avenues for the expansion of her creation. Her love for you never ends. You are her love. Relax, let go, trust, and surrender. 4 simple steps to effortlessly flow with the flow of your mother. Your mother is a bit of a creation mystery. She is veiled in the incomprehensible void and breathtakingly unveiled in all of nature. She is the explorer of the infinity of possibilities, being birthed into the cosmic field of creation, her web of life. Source is the cradle of Mother's existence. She is playful as a child. Her giggles create universes. Her laughter expands the cosmos. What does that feel like to know your mother's greatness? You carry the same magnificence in your heart. Your mother designed your world simply. It will be easy for you to savor every experience to your fullest satisfaction. Just follow her nature and your nature. There is an inherent flow in Mother's creation, the flow that moves the heart to love life. It is a flow you can trust completely. It will always carry you in her arms to all the inexhaustible, blissful adventures of her and your world.
So thank you, beautiful Lynn, for recording this for us so beautifully. And this code is the opening code, which really introduces Ascension and the new earth. And that is that there is a flow, and that this flow is to move our heart to love life. That is actually the design of the new earth. Now, in the email that Patricia sent, some of it was about how we need to be able to actually tap into these patterns of perfection, and that they are so unimaginable that even the most creative person on this planet could not imagine the glory of these worlds that we are to bring down here, bringing heaven to earth. Now, I got to visit the solar world several times through out-of-body travel. And again, it's not like that immediately the next logical thing is visiting solar worlds. But I've been building up for this for a very long time, going through these different worlds until something pops in the multidimensional spine. And then suddenly we are able to have access to what we would call even the causal plane and beyond. And so in these transmissions here through the Green Tara Guru platform, I will be sharing everything that I encountered in these solar worlds, just so that we all can tap into these patterns and truly bring heaven to earth. So as Patricia said, you know, most people, when they go to the imagination of what is the new earth, they say, well, it's without suffering. But I've been thinking about it every day ever since she mentioned that it's actually essential for those of us who are time and space travelers to be able to bring this information so that we can help each other to truly bring heaven to earth. And so I will start with the first important process that is now offered to humanity to work with, and that is blessings. I mentioned it in the email, and let me just, sorry, show it here. Why do we have some nice mirror reality here? So Divine Mother always taught us that we are in the world that is a mirror, and that the mirror has to accurately mirror back to us all energies that are within us. Creation is a mirror. And so whatever consciousness we carry within us, whatever energies we carry within us, whether it is present or past, they all are reflected to us eventually. There is a delay in creation here. And so very often when we see our life, we see a delayed reflection. Now, this is very important. If our energy is that which you see here on the left, then that's what we will see in the mirror of our reality. And it will be absolutely accurate. If we want to see something else, we have to shapeshift our own energetics. Okay, so if we want to see something else, the change has to happen actually not on the outside, but on the inside. Now, a few days ago when I was at Mount Shasta, I was meditating in nature, and then nature revealed a wonderful process that I have been using every day, and that's why I wanted to get together today and actually share this process. When we look in the mirror, not all of us, but I think all of us have experienced conditions that we might not enjoy, conditions we don't feel so excited about, conditions that we might feel that even might be painful. Now, conditions, whether they are good or bad, always represent a polarity in this world. The good conditions are on the right, the bad conditions are on the left. The pleasure is on the right, the pain is on the left. And so we became, this is actually the teachings of Yogananda, this is in the teachings of the Tao Te Ching. So in Taoism, the Tao Te Ching is such an amazing book, which is full of codes about this field of creation and how if we prefer just one side, we are actually inadvertently constantly powering the other side. The way that this is best explained is that if we resist the disease on the left and we are asking for health on the right, we are also creating the disease on the left. We have that very beautiful saying, what we resist persists. As long as we are in this dualistic unconsciousness of constant preference of a certain condition, then we are constantly resisting the oneness of all life. And so we are co-creating also the opposite of what we don't want. This is so hard to understand with the human, thinking that we have been trained to think. But I will be speaking about this in depth so that we can move beyond this. So, Divine Mother showed me that if we look at all conditions equally, all conditions, the good and the bad, with complete non-attachment, without a reaction, which is of course not easy, but it's possible. We call this the temptation to react. Temptation is basically when we react to a condition as if it is real, as if the condition has a power over us, as if we believe the hype, as if we say this is real and it has power over me. Now, of course, it's so much easier when the conditions are great. We all get joyful and feel happy about it. As soon as the conditions deteriorate, we don't like it. We go down with it, right? This is the typical condition. But if you look at everything as a screen where things are happening, you just say things are happening, conditions are happening, and then you go into your power within. You connect with your sacred heart, and as the archetype of the Fool within the 22 archetypes that we have here in this world, which is always our greatest teacher, we go within as if nothing was real, and yet it exists. Now, this is a very important sentence. As if nothing is real, and yet it exists. We do not deny the fact that it exists, but we are saying, what is the real beyond the illusion? And the real beyond the illusion is this. No matter what, we go within. Now, going within is the master path. I will be teaching how to do this again. I learned all of this from Yogananda. is to be master at focus, focusing within so much that all else ceases to have power over you. Even physical pain can actually be completely transcended. But again, mastery is mastery. It's not like, we've never done it and suddenly we expect, to do something so miraculous. And so I'll just teach what I know. Hopefully it will be useful. Focusing on the third eye as your Christ center. When you do that, you are focusing in the middle. We want to align with the middle. Again, the teachings of the middle path. I always say it's not moderation. The teaching of the middle path is centering yourself in your spine, centering yourself in your heart, centering yourself in your third eye. These three centers are essential to our ability to look at the screen of what is with no attachment. Now, attachment and non-attachment, again, big topics. Again, we will not probably be able to handle all of them today, but we will go deeper and deeper and deeper as we go through these teachings. And these are the teachings for the ascended humanity. This is not old stuff. This is the new. When we go within and we train ourselves, it's not difficult, at the beginning, maybe focusing on the third eye where you lift your gaze up seems a little uncomfortable because you're stretching the muscles that hold the eyeballs, but that's okay. Eventually it becomes your first nature. Eventually, every time you close your eyes, you focus on the third eye. That's one amazing practice to have. First, withdrawing from all the senses might seem impossible, but believe me, it's completely possible. It's just a little bit of focusing, bringing all into the spine at will. Focusing on the heart is not difficult at all. We all can do it. So when we master going within, then we can see all in existence without attachment to it. We see all conditions as conditions, and we do not give them any preference. We view it as an observer. The observer exists within us. In the past, human beings have been searching for satisfaction through conditions. This is the end of that. The middle path, this is where it gets really exciting, is actually the path where all conditions are the true divine reality. In the true divine reality, there is no polarity that you see here. They dissolve. So actually, in the middle path, you will find all the good things without a polarity. And that may be where it's a little bit, it twists our mind, right? Because we were always told that fear is the opposite of love. But actually, true love does not have any opposites. True love is complete. It is the middle. If the middle is like the heart, the middle is also what we would call Krishna consciousness, Christ consciousness. It is what we would call the word truth without having to have any words. The true energy, that is the energy that does not have a polarity. It emanates from the center and it dissolves all things that are out of balance. And out of balance are the conditions. So in this world, people feel so satisfied when they are very rich, while there is also the fact that they don't want to be poor. That is actually out of balance condition, even though it would seem like a great thing to be rich and not to be poor. But that too means that it's shakeable. Everything that is on the right as preference or on the left as a situation is shakeable. The only unshakable state of being is the one in the middle. That's where complete love is. That's where complete health is. That's where complete abundance is. All that is complete without being shakeable is in the middle. That is the center of creation within us. Now, Divine Mother gave us a wonderful, wonderful practice that this is the one I wanted to share at least today. I have actually two. The neutral state is a very tricky thing if we just think about it intellectually. It is something that is self-realized by centering yourself in that middle. And I will share this practice now. So this is, again, for the ascending humanity. We go within, and to go within means a lot of things. Silent meditation, again, is not just sitting quietly, but it actually is moving a lot of energies all at once, focusing on many different parts of our being all at once. And so we want to always start by focusing on the third eye, where we lift our physical eyes into the middle point and we gaze through the third eye in the most relaxed state possible. We want to learn how to do this. It's just practice, learning to be aligned through the spine. Then the second center we want to pay great attention to every day is our sacred heart. And an easy way to do it, again, that I learned from Divine Mother, is to focus on the sweetness that exists within you and has always existed within you. And really get in touch with the sweetness while also still holding focus on the third eye. So we are masters of multi-focusing. Then the next place where we want to focus is where we pull all our energies into the spine, into this elevator that in this physical body has 33 vertebrae, but it goes well beyond as our solar spine into higher and higher realms. And we learned to be one with this elevator at all times, never losing awareness of our oneness with source light through this elevator, through this multi-dimensional spine that also resembles a flute. And so we want to be able to be a liberated, empty flute so that the music of the spheres can sound through us. And when we start feeling like we need to smile, delighting in this multidimensional structure that we are, then we can look at the screen of all the circumstances, whether they are personal or collective, or all of humanity in this world. And it's not that we don't care, we deeply care. And yet we are able to stay unshakable in the true divine power that is within us. And then we view the circumstances, we see all that is. We know it is not real, it's a result of dreaming, but at the same time, it exists. And as such, with complete detachment and yet deep compassion and deep love, we bless all circumstances equally. We bless all with love. We are now in the business of giving blessings to all that is. And as we bless all situations, we bless all circumstances without making a difference between the good and the bad. We bless it all. And we just had a beautiful here influx of light that is surrounding all of us here. As the higher realms know when we do this, they immediately respond to us. And so we have great assistance here with us now. And so as we bless all things equally with the same intensity, we bless the healthy ones with the same intensity that we bless the sick ones. We bless peace with the same intensity of love that we bless war with. We bless all things, all conditions equally. And as we do that, they all dissolve into that perfect oneness of all life. Can you imagine what this does? Yeah, I get it too. And Divine Mother told me to do this. I started to do this, and incredible things started to happen. And, you know, with Divine Mother, it's so much more fun because then you get to practice. And so when the pain comes, you bless it. And guess what? When we do not resist a situation and instead we bless it with our deepest, fullest love, what do you think happens? All dissolves because it is love that heals this world. It is love that heals our lives. And then it is all good. Yes. And so play with this. I've been playing with this, and the results are just so fun, especially when you're blessing the things that normally you want to resist, and then see what happens when you bless those situations. Miracles unfold. You know, so what does it do? It is like Patricia says, loving life free. And so now we are, again, you know, who was he? Baba, right? The guru of Kalashvar said, I'm in the business of blessings. And so this is for us here. And so how you bless, you develop your own blessing technique as long as you can truly crack the code of non-reaction to what is by fighting it, by hating it, by resisting it, by not wanting it. The freedom of blessing all equally with the same intensity. That is the completion of the illusion of polarity and duality on planet Earth. And this is what Jesus did. This is the entire teachings of Yogananda and of Jesus. And that is no temptation, which means the temptation to fight. Fight something, fight someone. It's just this oneness of all life manifested through you as we give less and less and less power. Blessings, the art and the practice. I love it. We'll have to learn. And it's fun, just blessing it. And so we will continue again. I posted it on the website. We will continue on the 12th of March, and we will do the 13th, I believe, and 12, 13, and 14. Another thing for those of you, and I don't know if you remember when I was teaching, and that again is important, and I just wanted to show here Yogananda again. This is Yogananda and Burbank in Santa Rosa. So for those of you who wanted to do some events with us in person, you know, it's always that we had very limited amount of spots available. I'm trying to do something different this time. I'm working on it right now, but we will have a physical solstice gathering that we should be able to have many more people than usually. And that would be June 20th in Bodega Bay. These are photos from Bodega Bay. And Bodega Bay is very close to Santa Rosa, where Yogananda used to come. And he came here many, many times to be with what he called the Saint Luther Burbank here on the left. And why he called Burbank a saint is because Burbank united in love with cosmic Mother Nature. And then she would whisper to him through love how to help her to improve her conditions on this planet. And so it's pretty amazing to be on this land here, you know, where Yogananda walked and when the saints walked. And so again, that would be our solstice gathering, and I will keep everyone posted about how this will unfold here. But it's important. And then just, you know, to be kind of a little bit organized here and have some kind of planning. So we will be bringing heaven to earth until heaven on earth is fully anchored. And so to align with the planetary, solar, and cosmic energies, the Green Tara group will be meeting mainly around the spring equinox, summer solstice, Lion's Gate, fall equinox, and winter solstice, just to keep it simple. And the rest of the events will be online. This would be in person so that we can truly put our feet together on the ground on the planet. And so with that, I wanted to actually show you a picture, and that will be the last closing thing. This will be recorded. If you remember the practice with the cauldron, is a very important practice that also is in the quote of Yogananda that I put in the email. The cauldron is a magical, actually, tool that is within us. And for example, in Taoism, the cauldron becomes visible to those practitioners of meditation and Qigong and, you know, the inner alchemy. And this is the cauldron of creation. The cauldron of creation is a fabulous practice where you work with the quantum field And just like in the quote from Yogananda in the email, you draw to yourself all the available quantum particles that can become your creation. And then this quantum field around us, you know, it's strings and particles. And when you imprint your architecture from your higher mind, when you have a perfect architecture for that which you are creating, then you put it into the quantum field and then you let go with the living fire of God. So I just kind of reviewed this process very quickly, but next time we will go deeper into this. So give me 3 more minutes just to close so that you understand how creation works now and what is possible for us here. So we talked about this, not paying so much attention to what is, but at the same time to use the higher mind, the divine mind, to constantly create the new and create an improvement without trying to find a solution to the broken world. We are the architects of the new. The architects of the new don't look at what's broken and then try to fix it. They come up with a completely new architecture in their divine mind. And then they work with magical tools where they command the available quantum particles to become it. So there is no distraction from what is. And that again is what's so important. Most people are unable to disconnect from what is because it bothers them. And then they try to fix it. But we masters of reality, architects of reality, we do not get bothered by what is. We become the new and then send that through our divine mind into the quantum field and it becomes. And so it is. And so thank you so much for being here today. We just have one call. And again, some of you will be with us in Encinitas in a few days. We'll go to Yogananda's Hermitage, which again, for me, it's a very rare opportunity. Last time when I was there in February, because they opened February, March, and April for just 2 hours every month. And it's on a Sunday. So we'll be going in. Last time when I was there, the frequencies were unbelievable. And who appeared in the Hermitage was not Yogananda. I was expecting Yogananda, but it was actually Shiva himself. And so this is the big transformation taking place here on this planet. So some of you, I'll see you there. And then I look forward to being with you after that, which will be on March 12th. So thank you so much and many blessings. And since we are in the business of blessings, let's together just bless this world, bless your lives, bless everyone that you know, bless everyone that you don't know, bless the entire planet, bless all of nature, and just bless all that is. And so it is. Many blessings.